So I think of this as like the true internet, or the beginning, I'll say, the genesis of the real internet, where we're going to finally be able to incentivize everybody in the correct way, to align all those incentives, because we do need money to survive. That is our world.
Hi everyone, and welcome yet to another episode of Newforum. Newforum is powered by Newcoin Foundation and is focused on fostering the expansion of decentralized social applications, also known as Social 3.0, by forming an ecosystem and a community of visionaries, creators, and investors to spark conversations on the topics of crypto, the metaverse, NFTs, and everything Web3.
And on this episode of Newforum, we're excited to have Anjali Young, co-founder of Collab Land. We'll be chatting with Anjali about Collab Land NFTs and how to form engaging and vibrant Web3 communities and projects. Hey, Anjali, super honored to have you here.
Nice to be here. So nice to meet both of you.
Yeah, and I'm like curious to know more about you. So tell us about you and how did you get into the crypto space and NFT world, and tell us a bit about Collab Land as well.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I'm Anjali Young, co-founder of Collab Land. I'm also, co-founder of Collab Land. We are a product of Abridged Inc. That's our corporation, and I'm a co-founder of that corporation, and then also CCO, which is Chief Community Officer. We started in 2018, pretty much in the heart of the bear market, as no-code tooling, which was, there weren't people in crypto and there weren't apps in crypto yet for people to use. And so we thought, well, let's build this no-code tooling to try to entice developers to come to crypto and build the buildings, build the libraries, build the office park. So that way, once there's buildings, then people will come to live in the buildings. However, because there were no people, there was no interest in builders to come and build as well. And so that was kind of a long, hard road. But during that time, got acquainted with the space and just continued to build in hopes for this future. And we're here now. I mean, as you can see, the interest in crypto is so great. People are building constantly. So this vision of what we have now, we started imagining it in 2018. In spring of 2020, that's the birth of Collab Land. We started a DAO called the Collab 19 DAO, and that was initially a response to COVID. There were so many people that were losing their jobs to COVID, losing their partners to COVID. I mean, it was just really a very difficult time. And so we thought, well, how can we help in this situation? And already being in the DAO space, we built this DAO, Collab 19 DAO. We said, okay, people can make grants, and then we can give out the money to people who need the money. So that was kind of the first imagination of Collab Land, which is how do we get the people in the DAO together in a space where they can discuss their proposals, whip their votes, nominate new people, however ways that we now think of people in DAOs organizing. Back then it was just voting on the blockchain. So it was like bringing that personal element to a DAO, which is now I know who Salimi is. Now I know who Joyce is. You're not just 0x5891 and 0x whatever. And so that was the initial use of Collab Land. It was meant for this DAO tooling. So DAOs can use it to get to know their members and to collaborate together. So after that initial implementation, and keep in mind, even in spring of 2020, it was a pretty small community. If you were in one DAO, you were probably in 5 other DAOs. If you were in one community, you were probably in every other community. There just weren't enough people that there was that much divergence when it came to DAOs and communities. So it quickly started gaining interest amongst other DAOs. So it initially started, that was the first use of Collab Land, which is like with Moloch and with other DAOs, DAO frameworks, if you have those shares, then you can be in a group together. If you sell your shares, you get kicked out of the group. And that means everybody in that group at that time, is going to be invested in that project. You don't have the laggers of someone that's in there, weeks at a time that maybe doesn't even have the same, doesn't own the same assets anymore. And so it's always been about like having skin in the game. That's something you hear a lot in crypto being thrown around, skin in the game. And having skin in the game is really what sets us apart from any other type of community outside of crypto. Anyway, so we start with DAO tooling. Soon after, investment clubs start using us. If you own a certain amount of token of an ERC20 token, then they were coming together and using us. Shortly after, social tokens, which that was our initial thesis, that social tokens are going to take off, like FWB, for example, any kind of like before NFTs, it was social tokens that were using Collab Land. It wasn't until spring of 2021 that NFTs started using Collab Land. But once one or two started using Collab Land, I was like, wait a second, this could be big. Like NFTs are what excite me about crypto. Like they're what spark my imagination. They're what get me excited. And they're just such a cultural like fit for me with technology and art and artists from all over the world. Like this is information I didn't even have real access to before. And now I can participate with them. So I was so excited about NFTs initially. And so what I chose to do is any new NFT that I saw or heard about, I was literally sending them a DM and saying, hey, do you think you want to try something? Do you think you might want to try Collab Land? It's a way to get all of the people who bought your NFTs into a community together. You can be in Discord together. At that point, it was Discord, but we started off on Telegram. So we moved from Telegram to Discord, and that's kind of where people had more specificity in their channels and the roles. Like it's so much more fun. Telegram totally has its no nonsense approach, which I think is super valuable for some groups. However, Discord really lends itself to that sort of creativity. And so I was literally DMing, and now thinking about Collab Land DMing you is so, we're in a different time. That will never, ever happen with all the scammers out there and imposters. But at that time, it was me literally saying like, hey, Joyce, you just put out an NFT. What do you think? Do you think you want to try Collab Land? Like, do you want to get all your holders together and talk to them directly? So I was doing that every single day, every single new project. And then I was even featuring them on the Collab Land Twitter account. I'm like Collab Land Community Spotlight. And I would just show, because it was so few communities that were using Collab Land at that point. And I was excited about every single new community using Collab Land. And then after, and I can't even say exactly after, it was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks later that I didn't have to do it anymore. I was like, hey, do you want to use Collab Land? Oh, never mind, you're already using Collab Land. So that was the first time where I was like, yes, like this is the way to go. Let's do this. And at that time we were like deciding even within Collab Land, like, do we want to go up the DAO stack? Do we want to start integrating new DAO tools? Do we want to continue to support DAOs? Like, is that what we're going to be? Or look at this new shiny thing, NFTs. But wait a minute, is it just a new shiny thing? What's really going on here? And what I saw going on there is like people that were not interested in DeFi, people that maybe were not interested in DAOs or governance. All of a sudden you had these people coming to crypto that they were just excited. They're like, oh, we can get on board with this. We love art. We love the idea of a community. We love the idea of being able to participate with this emerging technology through ownership of these cool, at that point, we thought of them as like trading cards. Like it's in us, as humanity, like we are collectors. We have been collectors from the beginning of our time, our existence of our time. And so it really fits well in that way. And then with crypto communities specifically, I got a report from 23andMe, and because I had the same questions you did, before we got on the podcast, we were talking about like ethnicity. And so I've always been interested in ethnicity too. And one of the things I learned is like my people, like my DNA. It started in Africa 150,000 years ago. At least that's what 23andMe is telling me. And then we moved north, and then we moved east, and where I landed, which is where my genetic material kind of solidified, which was in India. And now I'm an American, and I was born and raised in America, but my parents are Indian immigrants, so I'm not very far from that. And I thought, what is it? Like, why am I here? What is it about? How did I make it? How did 150,000 years of my genetic material make it to here, to talk to you? And what I think about is like communities are what brought me here. Initially it was safety. You need people. Even if you think of people, like someone has to look in every direction, right? To make sure that there's no danger coming. And so you need a group for that. We're limited in our human bodies to be able to protect ourselves from every angle. And then second, once safety became not the primary focus, then it became identity. And it's like, who am I about? Who am I with? What group am I from? What is my belief system? What is my mission? What am I about through identity, like by my group? And I thought, gosh, crypto communities, like this is going to be the way that we onboard people. Because number one, we have art. Art really, I feel, is one of the things that we as humans can gift to each other, is joy in art. And so we have art, we have collection, and now we have security and identity. So I just felt like that alone was just like, that's where we need to focus. Like, let's put our attention here. And it was a bet at that time. I know it sounds crazy to imagine Collab Land focusing on NFTs being a bet. But at that point, like we were so entrenched with DAOs and DAO toolings, we were calling our product suite DAO Ops. It was really what we were about. And so shifting the focus to NFTs and saying, there's something here, there's something exciting here, and people are this is going to be the way to get more people to join us in this new world building that we're doing. Just was too much for me to let go of. And so since then, we started adding more chains. We're up to 13 different blockchains that we support, over a dozen different wallets. And we've really become the NFT community standard. But that was not a foregone conclusion. And we did not follow the trend of NFT communities. We helped create them.
Wow, like this story is just so incredible, and I admire you so much for taking the risk and seizing the opportunity and really realizing that. And I'm wondering, Anjali, like, what are some of the challenges that Collab Land or you face, like governance wise, like moving into the DAO space? I think DAOs are a very popular topic right now, and everyone is trying to form a DAO, but like, how do you really coordinate that? And how do you really, with Collab Land, how do you really navigate it, the governance?
Yeah, so Collab Land does not have a DAO yet. We are not decentralized yet. It is a part of our plan. It's been a part of the plan for Collab Land, at least for the last year. Once this NFT adoption came and Collab Land started being used in this way, it very much felt like a movement, and not something that it's not just us, and our job is not to just suck resources out of the communities. Our position, and really it comes from our founders, which is myself, my husband, James Young, and our third co-founder, who is Raymond Fang, who has been an open source contributor and has an open source project for over 10 years. And so that idea of sharing and building together has always been a core belief for Collab Land. This product, getting here to over 30,000 communities and over 3.5 million users, that's not because of us necessarily, it's because of everybody. And so now we are moving into decentralization. Our plans for decentralization are solidifying at the moment. And what it's going to be is open sourcing of our API. So anybody who wants to add token granted roles or token granted access to any of their platforms will be able to use Collab Land. The DAO, through the governance, they will decide which partners to have and who is going to be the best fit for Collab Land. This is a movement. And what that means is that we don't want to just be another Facebook. We don't just want to be another centralized service where we say, oh, we are going to now use your data and sell your data and profit from your data. Everybody, the decentralization will include decentralizing of their identification of you. Salimi and Joyce, you will own your own data. You know, what groups you've been a part of, what assets you own, how you've behaved, like if you voted on certain proposals, if you've initiated certain proposals, if you have created tweets or Medium articles or YouTube videos that have added to the to your community. Well, you will be rewarded for that. And that will belong to you. That information will belong to you. And moving forward, that's information that you'll be able to take with you. And so what we talk about and think a lot about is like portability. And so not only do you own that information, you own your own identity, very different from Web 2, right? Like if you leave Facebook or if you leave Twitter even, like that's it. Like you don't get to take everything that you've done there. For example, I'll just give you another perfect personal example. I stopped interacting with Facebook in May of 2020. So gosh, it's been 2 years now. You know, and I lost my friends. I lost all of the information that I shared. I mean, it's still there, but only if I participate on their platform. But what about all of the ways that I've contributed to Facebook where other people have found value? It's gone. I can't go to a new platform and say, hey, look, here's my Facebook reputation. Now I should be at this level, or I should get this role, or I'm an expert in this, because now you can see my reputation of what I've done. So what we're trying to unlock with Collab Land, and I feel like there's such a huge movement in all of crypto, all of Web3 for this idea that we own our identities. And that really is fundamentally what all of this is about. You know, I was asked to be on an advisory board yesterday, and they said, well, we don't know about funding. Like we may or may not be able to pay you. But you'll get to say you're on the advisory board. And I said, if I can't get paid, then I cannot participate on your advisory board. And they're like, wait, what? Why? And I said, because that is a core belief of Web3 and crypto, that we get paid for our work. We get paid for what we do. And even if I'm just giving you my gut check opinion, that's my value. And so every time we share and add, like that is, there's no division between work that we're doing for an employer or work that we're doing for ourselves. And so that's really what this is about, like unleashing what our value. And we've seen with Web 2 how valuable we are. Like if you think about all the platforms, how much money do you think that they've been making off of us, off of our, not just creators. I mean, we're all creators in that way, but not just necessarily trained artists or musicians or street fashion or whatever. All of us are contributing and all of us are valuable. And we deserve to have that value be for us, not just for the platform. It doesn't mean that there can't be some division or that you can share or not share, but our identities and our work, what we're doing online, what we're doing on really, this is what it is. It's the money of the internet. That is what we've created. And from the beginning of the internet to now, this is, and I know there's so much more to come, you know, anyway, but because I can go off on another tangent, but I won't. This now, it's like, we've arrived. Now we are saying no to the governments. We're saying, this is us. We have our own money now. Like, now what? We've all organized. We've built our social networks like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and whatever, all the other ones, Pinterest, LiveJournal. I mean, I can talk back from the beginning. I used to dial up to BBSs. You know, I got on the internet, which wasn't even called the internet then. I don't even know what it was called. In 1993, I was dialing up as a teenager and meeting people online and playing MUDs, which was like games that we played together. And then I would go to real life meetups and meet the people I'd met online. Like that world for me had started merging so early in my life. And now crypto, what gets me excited about Web3 is like, now we have our own money. Now we're unstoppable. Like, what can we create together? Like this global consciousness. Like, it's just too much. I think, like, I'm 48. I think about, gosh, hopefully I'm lucky if I have another 50 years, but like, I want another 100. I want another 200, because now we're going to be able to solve these large problems of humanity, like poverty, water resourcing, climate change. Like, now with crypto, with money attached to this, we're going to be able to incentivize the right people to work together to solve the world's greatest problems. And that wouldn't be possible without the internet. And that wouldn't be possible without our own money, which is where we are now. So I think of this as like the true internet, or the beginning, I'll say, the genesis of the real internet, where we're going to finally be able to incentivize everybody in the correct way, to align all those incentives, because we do need money to survive. That is our world. And that was the one thing that was lacking from before crypto. We're all online all the damn time. We all still had our phones. We're all still constantly scrolling and uploading our photos and uploading our baby's first steps, but we didn't have money now. And now it's like I'm just excited to see where this goes.
Wow, your enthusiasm is like contagious. I love it. Earlier on, when we were like catching up a little bit, you mentioned how excited you are about NFTs. And I'm just curious to know, like, what's the main drive behind that excitement?
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay.
what are some of the possibilities out there, like, for artists getting in the NFT markets, as well as like building their crypto communities?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, what excites me about NFTs? That's really, really hard to say. What doesn't excite me about NFTs is really the question. And I can't think of that either. But I will say, personally, what is the most satisfying for me is to be in relationship with artists. So the fact that I now, as a collector, and really as a co-founder for Collab Land, like on two levels, get to be in a relationship with artists, people who are working and living and breathing art, like, is just such a tremendously rewarding experience. And that's part of why I looked into NFTs more, way back when we were still just getting, it wasn't social tokens that were getting me excited. It was NFTs that were getting me excited. And part of it is because I have such a deep respect for artists. I'm such an appreciator of art. I'm a creator of art. I've never done it as a profession, but I've sold my art here and there, but it's never been a full-time career. But I have such a deep appreciation for people who lean in to who they are. And being an artist means saying, what I believe, my point of view, I want to share with you. And that courage, just that whatever that is that artists have, that say, I have a point of view, I want to share that point of view with you. There's just so few things that get me as excited. I guess the only thing that, like, I love comedy and I love stand-up comedy. So it's like, that kind of feels similar in that I have a point of view. I want to share my point of view with you. And those type of people, throughout history are the ones that excite me. Being here, being able to be in relationship with people like that, to be able to have access to their thoughts, is so exciting. And now, as a collector of art, you can have that. You can have that because you're saying to an artist, I support you. I am your patron. And not only is it that I buy your art and now I'm just gone, or you're gone from me, you've made your money, now that relationship is severed. But, through NFTs, through royalties, it lends itself, it incentivizes an ongoing relationship with the community and the artist. And so it builds a deeper, richer connection. And I'm not saying it's always good. A lot of artists are not prepared for that. So if we're talking about what would be the best way for artists to start getting involved with crypto communities or starting NFTs, there's so many different ways. There are one-of-one artists who put out collections, and each one is individual, or a series like 1 of 10. I've thankfully, through this work, I've been able to be in relationship with people like that who I absolutely support and am excited about. But there's also huge projects like PFP projects, which weren't called PFP projects initially. They were just called NFTs, and people started using them as their PFPs. And boy, did that get me excited as well, because all of the sudden, and I know I'm talking on a tangent, forgive me. I no longer had to deal with looking at filters. Like, I cannot tell you how much filters on faces bother me. I cannot even tell you. I have a 17-year-old daughter, and the effect that digitizing women and girls' bodies and faces until they look nothing like themselves is a real huge point of pain for me. So when I started seeing PFPs being used and I started using my PFP, I thought, I can be a monkey one day. I can be a zombie one day. I can be a popsicle one day. And nobody needs to know what I look like. No one needs to know what color I am, how old I am, even though, as you can tell, I'm pretty open about it. I feel like it's important to share that because I want to encourage women my age to also join the space. So I feel rep sweats on age, so I share it freely. But I thought, gosh, this is what we can do here. Like, we're going to be able to unlock that too. Like, there's so many things that we're unlocking. And now this separation of this genetic lottery or non-lottery, whatever, right? Now we're going to be able to move away from that. So it's like now using your PFP is kind of freedom from that. And so that was the initial use case. And so it's stuck. I mean, now there's so many different use cases, and we'll probably see so many more moving forward. But that was an exciting moment for me. So anyway, that's PFP projects. But as far as artists moving in right now, like, just start. I think we talked a little bit about before we got on, because I was asking you both for a little bit of chat. So thank you for that. One of the things we talked about is just get here. Like, this is still, and you'll have people say it's early, it's late, whatever, but there's still so much opportunity right now. And so if you just get in, learn, mint your first NFT. You can do it so easily, like on OpenSea. You don't even need to know contract. You don't need to know anything. Like, you'll incrementally grow, and it'll become more, you'll learn more about it, and then you'll become more sophisticated. But from the outside, the first thing to do is just the easiest thing to do. And so you have your art, either it's digital or a physical or photography or whatever. I've seen so much different cool stuff. Just get started, mint an NFT. Like, even if you're not joining an NFT community, even though right now is a great time, we know that we're in a little bit of we don't know how long it's going to start, but a bear market started this week. And so it's like, now is a really good time if you want to kind of see, like, what is it? Like, buy an NFT, join an NFT community, hear what's going on, immerse yourself in the culture. And right now, even though we're going into a downturn, and again, I have no predictions. I cannot tell you how long it's going to last. I have no, magic goggles to tell the future. I do not. However, I do feel like this is part of the process. Crypto is the way. Web3 is the way. Whatever you want to, blockchain is the way. This is our future because it's the better idea. And this is what's going to elevate our consciousness as humanity. So I don't think there's ever a bad time to join and start. So even now at this time, I think it's a good idea to start really low stakes. There are amazing NFTs that are available right now for like 30, 40 bucks with vibrant communities. And I don't want to name drop some, but if you follow me on Twitter, I do talk about them once in a while. And so there are some really undervalued in that the art is amazing. The artist is engaged. The community is excited and wants to pull together. So there are those groups right now still, and this is still a good opportunity to join them. Now, as far as like, how do you find them? It's not going to be through advertising. So
Right.
you're not gonna find it on an Instagram promoted ad. You're not going to find it on a Twitter promoted ad. You're going to follow maybe platforms like yours or follow other leaders in crypto, and you're going to kind of get, before you even make that initial purchase, you're going to kind of get the lay of the land. You're going to say, okay, this is an interesting project, but it's 1 ETH. That's too much. Let me see what other projects the holders of that project are also in. Let me check those out. Like, it's going to take a little bit of work. And the reason it's going to take a little bit of work is because right now it's still difficult to get in. And so there are so many people trying to make money off of those who don't know it enough. And everyone's so excited. It's like a fire hose. I can tell you that with Collab Land in terms of like our growth and the number of clicks we get every second, like it's a fire hose of new people coming in. And because of that, they're not waiting to educate themselves first. And so it's going to be a stop. Give yourself a week or two to familiarize with the space. Go really low stakes initially, maybe just one community. Even if you're a creator, an artist, a fashion designer, whatever, I don't think anybody should get into this industry without participating in it across the board. I don't think there should be any kind of user onboarding for new people who are not in crypto to just join, because understanding the values, understanding the mission, understanding what we're trying to accomplish and change is so important at this stage, because if we don't, we're just bound to repeat what we have right now, which is just a few siloed platforms who are all making the money. And so not only do we want to have new artists come in, but we want them to understand what this can be, what this can be for future artists, what this can be for future creators of all types, what this can be for us as collectors. We don't want to be an audience anymore. We want to be a community. So that would be my advice, which is educate yourself, follow people on Twitter. It's super easy. Do not go for ads. I mean, I don't have any stake in that. Like I don't have ads. I don't click on ads. So yeah, but I would say don't click on ads. So if I could give anybody a tip out there, trust me, that's not the right approach. Reputable NFT communities are not out there buying Instagram ads or Twitter ads right now. They're building. So follow them on Twitter, follow the founders, listen to what they have to say. And they will also sometimes talk about different communities that may be affordable for you if that one for that particular artist is not affordable. So right now there's such good opportunity. So get in there, get your hands dirty, start digging around, learn about what we're trying to do here. And if it's for you, go for it. Make your first NFT, tell people about it. That's going to make you feel the most confident about in moving forward, because authenticity, it's like when people outside of crypto talk to me or talk about crypto with me, they say like, oh, this is authentic. This feels authentic. Okay, yes, we want you because this feels authentic. And I think, what? What do you mean feels authentic? Like, so that makes me think there must be so much else out there that's not authentic, right? And you don't want to be in that camp, because if people are valuing authenticity, how do you get authenticity? You get it by being in the dirt with everybody, mud wrestling with everybody. And you can still do that right now in a low cost way, not, investing outside of crypto is prohibitive. I've never done it other than in myself and in our businesses. But with crypto, it is not as high cost. And so you can start with a $30 to $40 NFT, or you can start with a social token, like I think Ape token is like $8 right now. Like just getting that little bit of skin in the game, that is the change. That is what's going to motivate you to learn more. Because from the outside perspective, just looking in, this is not what you think it is. And once you're in it and living in it and with other people who are living in it, you'll emerge in your own authenticity. So that would be my advice.
I need a moment to let this sink in, but I agree with you so much. Like there's still so much opportunity, and I want to say that to our listeners as well. Like getting in now while it's the bear markets gives you the perfect opportunity to build and to really find people and to slowly learn, because we've been kind of overwhelmed with this whole space, and there's so much information. I feel like this gives you the perfect time to really read about projects or find niche projects that you want to join. And I'm wondering, to all of this, what do you think is the future of the creative economy going to look like?
I don't 100% know. With Collab Land, I'll tell you what my personal thesis is. I will tell you that, which is communities are not going anywhere. Will they stay on Discord? Completely no. Like I said initially about what we're planning to do with Collab Land, which is like decentralizing Collab Land, making Collab Land open to new games that want to use Collab Land, new YouTube, or maybe not YouTube, but other video channels that want to use Collab Land, or new websites that want to use Collab Land. I mean, there's so many. GitHub, like any of these note taking, like really it can be any new way. But these communities that have formed based on a token, I think are extremely powerful. It's really interesting because you would think, oh, it's about money. Like people are just in it for money. Like I bought an atom bomb for 1 ETH, and now I'm in this community and everybody has an atom bomb and they all bought it for different prices. And now our goal is to raise the price of atom bomb together. And it is a purely financial relationship. And we will deal with each other on this transactional level. But that's not what happened. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that the relationship that started off financial, started off as a transactional relationship, grows into a trust relationship. And so it's almost like when people share the same financial incentives as you build this trust, and it's different from your family. It's different from your friends. It's maybe different from your Twitter followers. It's really unlike anything we've seen before, because now like you're in it together. And so what do I think is going to happen with that? I can't imagine that going away. I know it's not going to go away. It's going to grow bigger and wider, because that financial incentive that locks us together is now growing into different types of relationships. They're evolving, because that's what we do as humans. Like you and I met on this podcast, but if I saw you on the street, I would say, Joyce, and I'd give you a hug and I'd say, let's go get coffee, or come to this party with me tonight. Like I'm going to this thing. I've done that with people I've met through communities where I'm like, I'm in your town. Do you want to hang out? Do you want to get together? Like we're the same in that we both hold this asset, but it's not just that we both hold this financial asset. It's like, now we're both dead fellas. For example, if I use dead fellas as an example, I changed my PFP to dead fella today because it's Friday the 13th, and that's kind of a community thing that's happening. So it's just a fun way to celebrate with the community. But we're not doing that because everyone's thinking, oh, this is going to raise the price of dead fellas. We're thinking we're dead fellas and we want to share that part of ourselves. And if you had the same one and I have the same one, and we've chatted or even not chatted, but I know where you live, I'm going to say, hey, let's build together our relationship, our communication. So what I imagine happening is that these communities are going to thrive, grow. They're going to build a church, they're going to build a movie theater. They're going to build a workspace, kind of like what I talked about before with crypto and how we needed to build this infrastructure so that people would come. Now we have the people. And now the people are going to go out and build the infrastructure. So these communities are going to continue to thrive. They're continue to grow. I don't know what the delay is going to be because of, like we talked about the bear market, and we have a lot of empathy and sensitivity to that right now, but it does not change my vision. It does not change my thesis. It does not change my enthusiasm for this space, because the cat's out of the bag. We're going to go, just like the internet, in the early 2000s, 99, 2000, it was like the internet is dead. That's it. There's no more internet. Pack it up, everybody. My husband and I moved to Europe, for work. Like, we're like, yeah, there's no more tech scene. Like, we're done. Because of that experience with that original tech bear market, tech bust, internet bust. Hard to imagine now, right? Look at us. I don't even know what countries the two of you are in, or where you are, or what your time zones are. And we're having this real life conversation where we're getting to be with each other. I mean, like, this was not imagined in 2000. It was the internet is dead. And that thinking is just crazy. And to me, the absurdity of the internet is dead. I push forward to 2022. Crypto is not dead. I've seen this already. Good ideas win. Good ideas survive. And humans, we as a global community, we want to be together. And so this isn't going anywhere. This is only going to be growing. So where do I see NFT communities going, or tokenized communities? I feel they'll become more robust. people will find new and different ways to collaborate and innovate together. These relationships that have been built, they're not going to disappear. They're going to continue to grow because that is what we do. That's what humans do.
This is a great episode, so much insight and very insightful. And I think that like based off of like some of the topics we kind of touched on earlier in the beginning, curious to know if you had a few words to leave with women watching this episode or watching you today. What would be some of the essential or key message that you would share?
Don't be intimidated. There are women in this space. I'm here. I'm 48. Prior to doing Collab Land, I was homeschooling my children. And I did that for many, many years. It's okay. There's room for everybody right now. Even if, and this is one thing I even say, like when I chat with a bartender or a server, I say, just start with like $50 a month or $50 a week. Like, just get in there. Like, once you have skin in the game, nothing is going to motivate you like skin in the game. Watching it as an outsider saying, oh, crypto, this is its thing. I want to learn about it. Okay, but that's going to take you so far. But in order to unlock, you're going to have to get in there. So whether if it's buying a little bit of something, a little bit of ETH, a little bit of whatever it is that you want to buy, a little bit of a token on Coinbase, or if it's buying an NFT, which I think now is also available on Coinbase, just start there. Like get yourself in there, really, really low cost, and do it for you. Like there's so many women I talk to who are like, oh, my husbands are not into this, but I'm into this. I'm like, do it. I have people telling me, oh, I do this with my daughter. My husband has his own career and he's been managing his own way, and he doesn't really think crypto is necessary for him. But I'm at home with my kids. Like, I want to do something for myself. And it's such a low stakes way of getting in right now. And again, like that tiny bit, if you can just start with that, that's going to whet your appetite to learn more and more and more. And who knows what can be unlocked in women, in you. One thing we talked about a little bit before we started, and it makes me emotional to think about, but this space is for everybody. This space, what we want to encourage is everybody bring their full selves to this space. This isn't about conforming. This is about being the fullest expression of yourself. And so just know that everybody is welcome, and that we want you to be this fullest expression of yourself. And, part of, for me, even doing this business and why I feel so confident and comfortable about it is that is an ethos in our community, in my tight group of Collab Land employees, my teammates. I can't even call them my employees. I call them my teammates. Is that we encourage everyone to be the fullest expression of themselves. And so my husband and I, we feel that way, that we allow each other to be full expression of ourselves. We spread that out to our teammates, and from our teammates and through Collab Land, we want to spread that ethos out to every person who participates with our communities to any degree. So I would say that for the women who are joining, like, you're welcome, you're wanted. Start super small. You're going to learn. And crypto is for everyone.
I love the last thing you said. I think if we start moving towards being that open-minded and being just that hand holding and being like really, like you said, making space, I think that makes such a difference. Like in your community, in crypto, in your organization, I think if we just hold on to that and we just make more space for people and also make more space for women in crypto, I think we can create something life-changing, or we can create something beautiful for generations to come that live more out of that, not a traditional mindset, but more like free and can, express themselves that way.
Yes. And don't we need it? Don't we need it as women? Don't we desperately need it? I mean, women are not educated in all parts of the world. Women are ostracized for having a period. I mean, I think about that a lot. Like, it's just so much about what it is to womenness, womankind. And that includes our trans sisters, that includes our non-binary sisters and brothers, like anyone who has not benefited from patriarchy. I'm opening this world to I'm including all of them and holding them close. So the world has traditionally oppressed us, and let's try to create a better world. Is it going to happen? You know, it's interesting because I feel like if I have even a teeny tiny ability to move the needle a little bit in the hopes that we can create something more equal for the future, better for humanity in the future, like I'm going to do it. And I want all of us to focus on that. Not is it going to happen or not happen, but this is an opportunity to make some change. And so let's grab it. You know, there's so few times in history where someone who looks like me even gets called for a podcast. And now I'm on podcasts. I've been on multiple podcasts, and I am asked to be a speaker at different conferences. Like that, a homeschooling mom, like from the suburbs, like that's just, I didn't have this before. And crypto, I can tell you, has unlocked possibilities for me and has allowed me to share my ideas about what I want this new world to be listened to. And so there's room for you too. Like I'm not special in that way. So come join us. Start small. I don't want you to lose anything. I want you to learn. I want you to see what's amazing about this space. You know, don't fall for all the hype, and just learn what this is, because this is the way. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know when it'll be everywhere and for everybody, but I do believe that. And I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it.
Yeah, we have to do it ourselves. We have to step up and get into it. And so, Anjali, I'm wondering, I'm sure if a woman was watching this, she'd be thinking like, where can I follow this lady? She's like so awesome. So where can they find you on your social media?
You know, it's tough. I mean, I have a Twitter. I started one just for crypto. Prior to crypto, my Twitter presence was mostly social justice, interest in race and economic equality. And that's kind of been where my heart is. I'm an adoptive mom. So adoption has been a huge part of my life, homeschooling. So I had to start a whole new Twitter account just to talk about crypto, because my usual Twitter friends were not interested. And it's totally different, right? Like what we're talking about here. However, now it has begun to merge a little bit. Like this podcast is such an amazing opportunity for me to talk about crypto from this like social justice lens. And that makes me really excited. But I'm Dama de Roca on Twitter. It is DAMA DEROCA, which is Lady from Boulder. I live in Boulder. But I am moving to Denver, so I think like, should I change it? But anyway, yeah, so it's Dama de Roca, which is Spanish for Lady from Boulder. And that's me on Twitter. Otherwise, there's really nowhere else. I'm pretty much working, like, you know, our work is service work, which is service our communities. And so that mission is what, you know, keeps me occupied 95% of the day. So the few times I do tweet, or you can reach out to me, you can DM me on Twitter. So that would probably be the best. There's really no other place. Sorry.
I'm for sure gonna follow you, Anjali, and I'm so keen. Like the energy you just brought to this episode and the vibe and the message, I think, are so clear, and I'm so inspired to even inspire more women now and to get more people into the crypto space. So thank you so much.
Words, keep doing it. Keep doing it. You know, this is the way.
For being part of the episode, and also, you know, being part of our community now. And yeah, thank you for everyone who tuned in. Really, like, make sure to soak in every word of this episode, and stay tuned for the next episode. You know, be part of our community. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can follow us at Newforum_NCO, and also newcoin.org is our website, and also Instagram. And yeah, thank you again. Like bless everyone who watched this episode, and have a great one. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.
We will have all the links in the description so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Joy. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you.